Well, the wildfires in Los Angeles are affecting millions of people.
And here to speak about the dangers of wildfire smoke and how to protect yourself is Dr. Richard Chafu. Dr. Chafu, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Christine.
So let's start off with the first thing. Is the smoke dangerous even if you can't smell it?
Yeah, it is, Phil, because the problem is that there are these particulate matters from all the fires that have destroyed homes, buildings. There's a lot of toxins, chemicals, plastic materials, and they're in very, very small particles, and they're very easily inhaled. And unfortunately, you know, our heroes, the firefighters, are at ground zero dealing with this, and so they're at the front line of this. But certainly any people that live within that area, you don't have to necessarily be where the fire is. The winds are so strong that many of these chemicals and toxins and fumes can be dispersed for miles.
Well, yeah, I have to say, this morning when I let the dogs out, it was very early, like 6 in the morning, and I could smell something in the backyard, and I thought, oh my gosh, is there a wildfire that's burning in San Diego? Because I could smell it.
And that's been a problem with these really high winds, you know, that we talked about.
But in that case, are you suggesting that we just stay indoors if we don't have to be outside?
I think it's a great idea, you know, and what you want to do is look for the weather reports. You know, if you see, you know, really something above a 50 for the, you know, air quality index, then that's a good idea to stay indoors. Also, you know, younger children, people that have underlying health problems like heart disease, any kind of pulmonary disease, people who have, you know, cancer, undergoing therapy where they may be relatively immunosuppressed, the elderly. You really want to take care and be inside. And also, if you're driving and you're anywhere around these areas, you want to make sure that you put your air to circulate just inside. You want to bring out the outside air in. So.
Yeah, let's talk about the ashes and dust. Christina and I were talking before we came on, and she was telling me basically it could take up to 48 hours before you actually begin to have any symptoms. Is that right?
Exactly, Phil. And a lot of this has to do with not only the frequency, but the duration of the exposure to it. And these small particles, unfortunately, get way down into our respiratory system, down to what we call the alveoli, which is the area where there's air exchange between the lungs and our circulatory system. So these toxins can actually travel into our circulatory system as well.
So you're talking about the toxins that go deep down into our lungs and our respiratory system. So what's the worst thing that can happen if we get too much of it?
Death, obviously. You know, people that are at the front line with this. You know, smoke inhalation is a killer. You know, we know that 2,000 people die each year in the United States from smoke inhalational injuries. At least 8,000 people are hospitalized each year related to that. The problem is, Christina, that when you get, it's not just the chemicals, as you were, that are inhaled, but it's the body's reaction to that. There's an inflammatory reaction, there's a release of fluid, and there's an inability for good oxygen exchange. So people can get very hypoxic. There's also the release of noxious chemicals like carbon monoxide is very prevalent, something it's odorless and tasteless. Can be a source of severe injuries and death.
I was going to say time is of the essence here. So if you're getting some of that exposure, how soon should you see a doctor?
So I'd say, you know, as soon as you have any symptoms, if you had any extensive exposure, obviously if you have any underlying health problems, you do want to get in to see your physician and get that evaluated early on.
All right, Dr. Chafu, we do thank you for your expertise and for talking to us about this.
Yeah,
for now, we can. I know. For now, it's like we're taking a deep breath here. But thank you so much.
Of course.